Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm excited because I'm going to use a Raiders reference to score today's film. So,
there's something. So I did some research on here, and there's something in relations to that, but I'm not going to say what it is because if you get the right to say that, I'll give you all props in the world. But if you miss it, I'm gonna like rub your face in this opportunity that you missed.
Oh, I'm sure it is
like a dog that just left a mess in the living room.
We'll see.
That's exactly what. Yeah, I don't think you got it.
I don't think so either.
Oh yeah. But you're gonna be upset with yourself for missing this opportunity.
All right.
Now, also with us, ladies and gentlemen, Flesh Wound producer Todd, who needs to apologize
for what do I need?
For not allowing me a proper outro in last week's episode.
I thought it was perfect. You got the last word. That's all that mattered.
And I think you said what the problem was. The first words you just uttered. I think that was the issue.
I'm just being honest.
Of course you are. You're never not. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this week we are watching, or rather, we did watch. We're reviewing and discussing One Crazy Summer, as summer did just officially begin yesterday, Sunday, June 20th. So this is one of childhood favorites of mine. Was so happy to see it, starring John Cusack, Joel Murray, Bobcat Goldthwait, a plethora of others. See what I did there? Just referencing last week. Yeah, there you go. Todd, if you would please do us the honors in showing us the trailer of One Crazy Summer.
All right.
The movie started! The movie's done! Not really, I just want them to come running in from the lobby thinking that they missed something. Hi, I'm Ed Stewart, movie star, also known as Bobcat Goldthwait, and me and my friends John Cusack and Demi Moore.
I hate boats. I'm not getting on any boat.
I beg to differ. Just had one crazy summer.
Your dad said you were collecting shells! Shells! 57 millimeter!
We did all the normal things people do. Hey, little boy, will you hold on to this for me? Made friends. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Saw the sights.
Please, your enormous is anything but chili.
Killed our own food. Dazzled women.
Are you ready for me, Hoops?
We were party animals. Help me! Everyone loved us.
My car.
And we loved every minute. By the end of the summer, I felt I'd grown a lot personally. I felt a little bit better about who I was and where I was going. Okay, let's move it out. Here we go. Wait. It really was one crazy summer.
Oh, man. Okay, so
Real quick. I miss trailers like this.
I was just about to say, if you're not familiar, this is how trailers should be. Oh my gosh, my cheeks hurt. They hurt because I wasn't expecting that. So when he was going over everything, it's just ow. Whew, I need some stretches. Can you guys, Greg, can you do some initial thoughts real quick?
Yeah. So watching the trailer, I don't really think you get a good idea what this movie's about, which is great because none of it's really spoiled. You get a semi idea, but you don't have a lot of these movie trailers that okay, you've said all your best jokes already. So cool. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was, this was the first time I've seen this movie. So it was definitely, it was fun. Yeah, it was a little dated, but fun. And seeing Bobcat Goldthwait, it's always a good time.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I had you take that over as I had to recover from the trailer, but synopsis from IMDb reads, an aspiring teenage cartoonist and his friends come to the aid of a singer trying to save her family property from developers, which is pretty much bare bones what you got, but there's so much that goes on and so many story arcs that, you know, it almost makes me mad that it's at a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. It almost makes me want to punch somebody because it gives me the idea that I'm sorry, I did mention starring John Cusack. It was written and directed by Savage Steve Holland. You also had Demi Moore, as mentioned. Curtis Armstrong is most notably known as Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. But, oh man, my cheek still. Again, like initial thoughts, like I watched this all the time as a kid, and it was so fun to see it now because, I mean, I never got to this time was the first time I ever got the joke of his mom. And right before we jumped on, I pulled up the cast list, and I remember I saw Mrs. McCann, and I just started laughing. And I was like, sorry, I'll explain later. Because when I saw, I was like, oh, when was his mom in the movie? She only had one purpose: to wash the graduation gown. Yeah. And it was shrunk at like, just this is how you start things off is brilliant. And it's not, I'm sorry, it's not exactly how you start them off because the movie starts with some animation because he is a cartoonist. And so that's fun to see the way it breaks down, or rather breaks up the movie in parts, makes it go really quick. And I'm laughing at all points. It feels it's set up just like a farcical comedy. And I have nothing bad to say about this movie, to be honest. But I'm not in the ratings yet. That was just my initial thought. I apologize for probably going over on that. I got Greg. Todd, any initial thoughts?
I think you're gonna you liked it more than me.
Of course I did.
This isn't my first viewing. I know I've seen it before, but I didn't remember anything. So it was like watching it again for the first time. I had fun, but I don't think I was in love with it like Ozzy was.
Yeah,
I don't know. Greg,
total love with it. Greg already spoke.
Yeah.
So take that.
Okay.
So in terms of holy cow, my favorite, well, probably my favorite line, but ironically, in the sense that it wasn't because it was, I shouldn't say ironically, but it wasn't in the sense that it was funny. It was like, well, what do you think? They're driving along the road, and there's a casket, there's a priest reading from a book, and main character John Cusack, his character Hoop, says, "What's going on? What do you think's going on? Like, what? They're having a birthday party." Like, but in terms of actual funniest moment, and I think the reason why I like this movie so much, and I think as a kid, what I appreciated seeing so much setup, and the going back to the antagonists, Teddy and his father, played by the same. He was in Animal House. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what he was in Animal House, but he was the MP, not the MP. I'm thinking Stripes. The whatever college program, Army recruiter in Animal House. To see him here, so you already hated him because you remembered him from Animal House. But it had such a good setup that, for me, my favorite point at the end is because it was also funny is seeing the final engine reveal on the boat, because there's an eventual regatta race, and when they actually blow and reveal the engine, it was such like a good just like a punch in the face that I also found myself laughing because it was like I was going downhill on a roller coaster. You know what I mean? It was. Yeah. It felt like such a good payoff. So that was definitely my favorite point. It is towards the end, but still, hands down, my favorite part. Greg?
I think we're going to bookend this then, because my favorite part was in the beginning. That opening animation, I don't know why. I think because since this was the first time I've seen it and it caught me off guard, when that rhino busts out that machine gun,
yes,
I laughed quite a bit. So yeah, that had to be my favorite part of the movie.
Well, mine's in the middle. Ozzy, can you guess what my favorite part was? Okay, well, you can't.
No, I can't.
You should though. It would have been the Bobcat Godzilla stuff. I love Godzilla, yes. And I was loving that. For me, that was the highlight of the movie.
Absolutely. I was laughing my ass off at that as well. I think there's just when this guy was writing it, he just thought of like funny scenes, and he just figured out a way to get to all those ways because everything was just like happening so perfectly. Like it would have to happen this way, but the way it sets you up in the very beginning with it already starts off with absolute silliness, so you're already perfectly set in that mood. And again, like I remember this from my childhood, so it is nothing less than a 5 for me. I think specifically because of the writing feels very like I was laughing like as though I was watching a Looney Tunes cartoon at times. You know what I mean? Like there was the 80s stuff, sure, because it is very dated, but there's some very specific comedic, like the grandmother charging the other boys for eating at her house. That, I mean, like, come on, like that's great. Like stuff you wouldn't expect happens. And like I said, I'm not even going to explain what the engine reveal was, but because it had so much stuff that you wasn't really expecting, it kept me entertained the entire time. So that's why I got to give it a 5.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, I have to give this a 4. And I'm going to give it the Napoleon McCallan Award. So he was drafted round 4, so that's a part of it. And because this movie was fun, but missing the knee. And so I had a lot of fun with this movie. It wasn't as funny as I thought, but it had its moments, and enough to give it a 4.
Two things. Well, yeah. Okay. You want to absorb
Ozzy.
You want to absorb it for a minute, Ozzy. Take it all in.
You know what? Just talk.
Okay. Well, to keep Ozzy in the great move, I feel like it kind of slows down a bit at the end, or I'm not like the last half hour. I wasn't super into, but it does feel like a bunch of stuff put together by the plot, and you get a bunch of really funny scenes. So that makes me enjoy it. I'm a little lower. I'm a 3.5, but I think if you can get over the fact it's dated, you'll enjoy it. It did make me want to watch Police Academy 2, though.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I can understand that. And I think I'm not trying to defend my score here, but I think me seeing it at like an early age and often at an early age, seeing it again, probably I'm somewhat biased, but you know, I'm not really paid to do this, so I don't care. But anyhow, I forgot to mention earlier, in case you are listening to the audio version of this and you wanted to check out that trailer that we were talking about featuring Bobcat Goldthwait, you can do so on the YouTube version.
Before you go, because there was something you're waiting for Greg to do.
That's right. I was waiting for, and there was something I was going to rub in his face for missing the opportunity to do so.
And I know who the opportunity is in reference to.
Probably.
Yeah, and that would be Stain. I'm not going to say his real name.
Who?
Stain. John
Cusack?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a Raider.
Yeah.
And he fell up in the water. And you know what he was also in? Goonies. You know who he was?
He should know. Caesar. I bet.
Sloth.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So that was the opportunity you missed.
Oh, I like mine.
But you said no. Yeah. No, I got it.
Well, there is a sloth joke in there, but I don't think I could say it in 2021.
Oh my gosh. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, no. Other than that, I don't think. Oh, it does have the probably the greatest end credit scene I've ever seen. My favorite end credit scene ever in the history of movies. Now, remember, this was released in 1986 and had a runtime of not very long. It was about 93 minutes. Yeah. It was released August 8th, 1986. And so in 1986, it wasn't an end credit scene. It was a line. It was in all caps. And it read, "This movie is over now. You can go home." That would be perfect now. Like if that was in a line like at a theater now, that'd be great. I mean, come on. Like, could you imagine at the end of a Marvel movie that was a line you got, or end of a comic book movie after all the credits? That was a line. It was actually. I'm sorry. I actually read this movie is over. You can go now. That's
Well,
If you did it now, especially in those Marvel films or something, and then like the very last thing that's done in the credits is like, "Told you."
well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not trying to shit on this, but it wasn't even the first time. It was literally done early in the same year with Ferris Bueller. Almost.
Oh, but he said it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was the same thing.
Yeah, same joke.
well, I guess, but at the same time, like that was an actual scene.
I know.
Whereas like they filmed that and they planned it. This is just like they want, dude, just go home. Like we're not giving you anything else. Like so, Ferris Bueller joked about being that way, but they actually filmed the scene so it fit in the humor of it. When in actuality, it was more like One Crazy Summer's like, well, yeah, they don't want to film anything else. Just so they put that line there. Like that, it feels more that they executed that joke better, you know? So when did Ferris Bueller come out?
January or July 86.
Oh, that's close.
Summer 86. This was, you said December?
August.
Oh, okay. Both summer that year.
I wonder if it was leaked. Hey, Ferris Bueller is going to have this show. Should we do something with ours? Because Ferris Bueller was really popular. So you imagine a lot of people were waiting till the end. So that's probably why they put that in there. So it probably wasn't intended as a joke. It's probably intended to be like, listen, Ferris Bueller is funny, but it's not going to happen. Stop. So that's probably why in my head, that's probably what I went from A to Z, and that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. Now, that does conclude this week's episode, unless you guys have any final thoughts about this film.
No.
All right, fantastic. Moving on to next week, we will be discussing and reviewing Kevin Smith classic Clerks.
Yes.
Yes.
How old are you going to be, Ozzy?
Yeah, I got to say, so we're going to be releasing that episode of Clerks on, even the cars are excited. They're honking their horns excited for that episode. It's going to be releasing June 28th because I'm turning 37 on June 29th. And we'll be discussing sorry, go ahead.
That's why Ozzy's jaw hurt earlier.
If you're familiar with Clerks, that's probably funny to you. If you're not, be sure to tune in next week as we'll be reviewing and discussing that Kevin Smith classic. And any final thoughts before we head out, Greg or Tom?
I'm super excited for this Kevin Smith movie. I actually have a fun Kevin Smith jersey that I've worn on here before, and a fun story to go along with it, in case I haven't told it already.
I feel like we could just record that one right now and not need to watch it. But
yeah,
that's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it, though.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to join us next week, whether it be on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube, where you can see our beautiful faces. Once again, that is Flesh Wound producer Todd. That is world famous juggler Greg Larson, and I'm Ozzy V. We'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.